Magandang araw sa inyong lahat and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Kapisanan ng Social Media Broadcasters ng Pilipinas Incorporated, sinampahan ng kasong kriminal sina Vice Ganda at Ayon Perez at sila ay sasampahan din umano ng kasong child abuse ng grupo ng mga magulang ayon sa KSMBP. Isang grupo ang nagsampa ng reklamo laban kina Vice Ganda at Ayon Perez dahil sa umano'y paglabag sa cybercrime law at iba pang kaso. Noong September 11, 2023, inihain ng grupong Kapisanan ng Social Media Broadcasters ng Pilipinas or KSMBP ang mga kaso laban sa mga host ng It's Showtime sa Quezon City Prosecutor's Office. Noong nakaraang buwan, nakipagpulong ang mga grupo kay Movie and Television Review and Classification Board or MTRCB Chairperson Lala Soto para talakayin ang paglaganap ng immoral content sa ilang palabas sa telebisyon. Sa kasalukuyan ay wala pang pahayag sina Vice Ganda at Ayon Perez sa mga bagong kasong kinakaharap nila. Bukod sa mga kaso, nasa proseso din ng It's Showtime ng pag-apila sa 12 araw na suspensyon sa pagpapalabas na ipinataw ng MTRCB sa kanila. Narito ang press conference ng grupo na nagsampa ng kaso kina Vice Ganda at Ayon Perez.
So our topic today is with regard to what is obscene, what is immoral, what is indecent. There is a revised penal code provision on this, Article 201, and we have the Cybercrime Law, Republic Act 11075. These laws complement each other. But before proceeding any further, let me give the microphone to our co-moderator, Sunny Coloma, former press secretary and publisher of the Manila Bulletin. Sunny.
Thank you, Senator Lina. Good morning. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Ikinagagalak po namin ni Senator Joey Lina na makasama kayo sa umagang ito. At ang ating paksa ay natungkol sa kalidad ng mga ipinapalabas sa telebisyon at sa ating media. I think we will all agree this is a matter of great public interest, especially considering the broad audience that is viewing the shows that are shown on our mass media. Kaya kailangan pong alamin natin kung ano ang mga mahalagang usapin. Bakit po ba natin tinawag ang ating mga panelists ngayon para ipaliwanag yung kasalukuyang sitwasyon na nais nilang bigyan ng solusyon. Siguro po yun ang that is the gist of what we want to accomplish today.
For full disclosure, let me state that I've been a kapamilya for 19 years. That's how long I have been on television and in radio, and I'm also preparing to return to ABS-CBN under the new management in Teleradio, but things are still being finalized. So for full disclosure, since the people in the news belong to ABS-CBN, I have to state categorically in all transparency that I've been part of the Kapamilya channel, where the particular show is being shown. It's Showtime. Also, for full disclosure, I also happen to be a director of the Kapisanan ng Social Media Broadcaster ng Pilipinas. Another is I'm a close friend of Tito Soto, the former Senate President. We were together in the Philippine Senate, and we are considered friends. So I'm stating all of this for full disclosure, and I know that we can handle this subject matter in all objectivity and transparency, because what we are after here is to determine what is the truth, or approximate the truth, and to learn from these incidents that have transpired in our country. So with that, we can proceed with this talakayan. I'm sure all the members of the media here have prepared their questions, but let me introduce again our resource persons or guests in today's kapihan. Attorney pa, Leo Olarte, President of the Kapisanan ng Social Media Broadcasters ng Pilipinas, and the complainant, which is the complainant in the criminal case filed against Vice Ganda and Ayon Perez. So, of course, you know Dr. Olarte to the right of Sunny Coloma. We have Dr. Maria Bernadette Arsena, consultation and liaison psychiatrist of the St. Luke's, Quezon City. There's another St. Luke's in Global, also both Quezon City and Global. Welcome, Dr. Olarte, Dr. Arsena, welcome. And the other, and the lawyer of the Kapisanan na Social Media Broadcaster ng Pilipinas, Attorney Mark Tolentino. Welcome, sir. And the President of the United Filipino Consumers and Commuters, a complaining witness in the case, RJ Habeliana. Okay, magandang umaga. So, let us ask first, what motivated the Kapisanan with Attorney Olarte as President to file this case against Vice Ganda and Ayon Perez?
Thank you, our beloved and forever host for this particular program in this historic Manila Hotel, Senator Joey Lina. Friends in the media, we are very happy that you have been always concerned about this matter that is being handled by the Kapisanan ng Social Media Broadcasters ng Pilipinas. In fact, as early as Monday afternoon and Tuesday morning, I was already battered by a lot of calls to be interviewed. But I said we will wait for the opportune time, and that will be on Wednesday, 9 o'clock in the morning. So this particular case is actually filed by complainant Kapisanan ng Social Media Broadcasters ng Pilipinas. I am only the representative here, in this case, as president of this Kapisanan ng Social Media Broadcasters ng Pilipinas. So the complainant here is the Kapisanan. And this concerns about the particular alleged indecent act and obscene exhibition by Vice Ganda and her or his partner, Ayon Perez, last June 25. It's showtime, and if you were there, to many friends in the public, they were complaining that this said act, this said exhibition was actually obscene. And it was sexually enticing to immoral acts, especially in the presence of children whose minds are very open and easily persuaded or easily enticed to follow what these two persons were doing in media, especially in the eye of the public. So this Kapisanan is actually very much concerned about the moral agenda of our young people. We want to have a society where morality and decency prevails. And so the board finally decided to file a complaint against these two persons for violation of Article 201 of the revised penal code in relation to the cybercrime law. And we hope that by doing this, we will be able to show to the public that we are really for decency, uprightness, integrity, and we should show to our young people that morals and good conduct is still very important, so that our nation will continue to become progressive, and these young people will be good participants in nation building. And so we hope that by doing so, our friends in social media and also those in the television and radio will always be mindful of acting and behaving properly, because the public is looking at them, and that they should show a good example for integrity, decency, and morality. Maraming salamat po. We have here Dr. Arsena Bernadette, who will also show a PowerPoint presentation on the effect of social media on the mental health of the public, and especially in children.
Dr. Olarte, before we have the presentation by Dr. Arsena, let's explain further the basis of the complaint so that we can contextualize this discussion. You mentioned about Article 201 in relation to the cybercrime law. Can we ask Attorney Mark Tolentino first? What act? The act that was referred to, which is a clip in the Showtime. That's the television program. There's a segment in the television program. It's called Isip Bata. And the controversial act was in that segment. So what law was violated, and what are the specifics of the law that you use as basis in filing the case, which is a criminal case against the two individuals?
Thank you, Senator Joey Lin. And of course, sa ating mga kasamahan, mga kaibigang, mga media, yung basis natin for filing the case is Article 201 of the revised penal code in relation to cybercrime. Bakit in relation to cybercrime? Because ang pag-show kasi nila ng obscene act, the alleged obscene act sa Isip Bata, hindi lang naka-live sa television, naka-live simulcast din yan sa Facebook and YouTube and any other available social media platform. That's why if you have a copy of our complaint, hindi lang yung allegation natin is the date or time of yung live na pinalabas yung act na yon, but also nakalagay din doon yung link ng YouTube, link ng Facebook. Yun yung ginagawa lang Isip Bata, isa segment sa yung tinatawag na program nila, yung It's Showtime, na may kumakain ng ice cream or icing, they are using their hand. So parang it is not good to the media or not good to the public, not also good lalo na sa mga kabataan. And we research. Ang ginagawa natin, hindi lang kami nag-file ng kaso kasi para mag-file lang. We also study the law. We also study the jurisprudence of the Supreme Court. we also study not just the Supreme Court of the Philippines, but also in relation sa mga jurisprudence ng United States. We are talking here of the obscenity as the definition or yung focus ng crime. Obscenity. What do you mean by obscenity?
Attorney,
Yes, po.
you're going into very interesting topic. No?
Yes, po.
But to some who are not lawyers,
Yes.
can we slow down a bit? No?
Yes, po.
Kung hindi ipinalabas sa social media or sa digital media, hindi sa lumabas sa Facebook, kasi naka-live stream ito.
Yes po, yeah.
Hindi na YouTube or I do not know kung nasa Instagram or
Yes.
Twitter. Kung hindi pinalabas sa social media, so what law will be the basis alone? Is it Article 201 lang of
Yes,
the
po.
Revised Penal Code?
Yes, tama po. Article 201 of the Revised Penal Code, pag television lang or live theater, doon po sa lugar na saan, or sa studio. So, Article 201 lang yan. But ang problema, naka-live stream siya sa Facebook and YouTube. That's why, iba kasi pag nakalagay sa Facebook and YouTube kasi covered na ang cybercrime.
Yeah.
What is the relevance of that cybercrime? Kasi pag Article 201 lang, ang penalty is prison mayor. Prison mayor is 6 years, 1 day, to 12 years ang penalty under prison mayor. But because under the cybercrime, nakalagay doon, pag ginamit ang technology, ang computer, 1 degree higher. Pag 1 degree higher, hindi na prison mayor. Kung hindi, reclusion temporal. What is that reclusion temporal? 12 years, 1 day, up to 20 years. Yun ang pagkakaiba pag ginamit natin ang social media, ang internet, ang technology compared sa ordinary crime. Bakit ko nasabi yan? Kasi yung Article 201 of the Revised Penal Code, 1930s or 1940s pa ito na batas. Wala pang social media nung panahon na yun. That's why, under the development of our law sa Pilipinas, nakalagay doon na lahat ng violation ng Revised Penal Code using technology, using internet, social media, 1 degree higher of the penalty prescribed by the Revised Penal Code.
So, pasensya lang po at hindi rin ako abogado.
Yes, sir.
Sige, so on legal basis natin, the most basic is Article 201 of the Revised Penal Code.
Tama po.
Ngayon, sinasabi natin, dahil gumamit ng social media platforms, it would fall under the concept of cybercrime.
In relation to cybercrime.
In relation to cybercrime. Is there a separate statute that you are referring to in terms of cybercrime? O sakop pa rin yun ng Revised Penal Code?
Hindi po. May law about cybercrime. Yun yung article, may batas, I think, a cybercrime law.
It's a separate Republic Act.
Cybercrime yan. Nakalagay lang doon na kung ano yung penalty ng Revised Penal Code, mas mataas ng 1 degree higher pag ginamit yung technology, yung computer, yung internet. So,
but the offense that we are alluding to is also explicitly stated in the cybercrime law.
wala po. Nakalagay lang doon, pag ginamit mo ang cybercrime law na in violation of the Revised Penal Code. So, ibig sabihin, ang main cause of action is the Revised Penal Code. That's why ang complaint po natin, Article 201 of the Revised Penal Code in relation to the cybercrime law.
Okay.
So, ang tanong po dito, bakit yung kapisanan ang complainant? May personality ba ang kapisanan na maging complainant? Biktima ba sila? Or tinatawag ba sila na sila ba yung na-harass or na-influence yung utak nila because of that icing incident? Sabi ko nga, yung batas ng Article 201 is a public crime. Hindi naman ito private crime like adultery, concubinage, that kailangan yung offended spouse ang mag-file ng kaso. This is a public crime. Anybody can file a case as long as yung complaint affidavit na in-execute, they must have personal knowledge of the facts of the case. In this case, Dr. Olarte and the kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas, sila mismo ang nakakita. Hindi lang sa TV. They check it on Facebook, on YouTube, nakita din nila. So, ibig sabihin, hindi ito based lang sa chismis or sinabi ni Pedro, sinabi ni Juan. Sila mismo ang nakakita nung insidente ng Isip Bata segment ng It's Showtime. They
personally witness it as well.
So, therefore, they have personal knowledge of the facts of the case. So, ibig sabihin, hindi ito based on hearsay. So yun ang status ng kaso. So, they file a case, the kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas and Dr. Olarte was authorized by the kapisanan to file a case. And now, nung Monday, final po natin sa Office of the City Prosecutor ng Quezon City. But, of course, hindi naman natin sinasabi na guilty na si Vice Ganda.
Okay, excuse me, Attorney John. No? Just to add to the context. No?
Yes po.
Ito ba ay isa sa mga una o marami ng listahan ng mga similar offenses on Article 201 and also in relation to cybercrime? Para lang malaman ng ating mga
Actually, marami nang na-convict under Article 201 of the revised penal code. But that was under the old law. Old law na wala pa yung cybercrime.
Okay.
I think this is one of the first. Kung konti pa lang, maraming naka-file, but one of the first incident na naging trending ngayon na ginamit natin ang 201 in relation to cybercrime. Kasi we are talking of cybercrime po. Ang pinaka-common, cyber libel. Kasi
kaya sa pamagitan nito, we are raising the awareness of people on the possible ill effects of the wrong use of media.
Yes.
Especially because ito ay namamagnify through the social media.
Yun po ang advocacy ng kapisanan. Ang kapisanan, hindi naman natin pinipersonal si Mr. Vice Ganda or si Ayon Perez. But we are here because of our advocacy. Now, we should be a responsible social media user. So, yun ang advocacy natin. So, hindi natin pinipersonal si Mr. Vice Ganda o yung kaniyang boyfriend. Hindi. Nagkakataon lang na based on our research, based on our legal study, may violation siya sa batas. So, hindi lang maybe after this, in few weeks or few months from now, kung may nakita kaming violation of using social media based on the instruction of the board, maybe, depende sa ating presidente, maybe we will file. I'm just a lawyer. I'm just helping them. But in this case, kung ano yung nakita nila na may violation, because the kapisanan will act as a watchdog of any violations sa cyberspace natin using Article 201 of the revised penal code. Kasi ang pinaka-common kasi natin sa cyber libel, cybercrime, cyber libel. Cyber libel is one of the limitation of the freedom of speech. But hindi lang yan. May iba pa palang limitasyon sa freedom of speech. Because of course, nakalagay po sa ating saligang batas, freedom of press, freedom of speech. One of the limitation is the libel. May cyber libel. May pangatlo pa pala. Ano yun? Article 201 of the revised penal code. Yung mga obscenity, mga immoral acts is actually part of the unprotected speech. Pursuant sa principle ng parens patria, the state or yung ating gobyerno may authority to protect the public against immoral, indecent, or obscene acts. Lalo na sa television, lalo na pag isa kang sikat na tao na gumagawa ng ganyan.
What is obscene to one may not be obscene to others. So, what makes and what should be the criterion in determining whether an act is obscene
Actually po,
or not? So, what will be the standard or criterion to be used? I think that's the crux of the matter. There is no one-size-fits-all definition of obscenity. So, what will be the standard or criteria or criterion?
Sa isang Supreme Court decision, may test of the obscenity. Supreme Court decision na ginamit nila yung test ng jurisprudence ng Amerika. May test. Sabi doon, what do you mean by obscenity? Any act that is in violation of chastity, decency. Yun yan. But of course, if you check Article 201, Section 3, letter G, nakalagay doon, any theater, film, or show na on the basis of the Board of Censorship or yung MTRCB right now, na based on their judgment is contrary to law, morals, good custom, public order, public policy, is actually in violation of Article 201 of the revised penal code.
But that's still very broad.
Actually po,
What
hindi
will be
matatawag.
so you're saying, to be specific, is the MTRCB or the former board, or rather the present that replaced the board of censors, the MTRCB has already determined that the alleged act, is obscene.
That is one of our allegation and one of our basis. But that is not only our basis.
Yeah, but you're in the present, what is already determined as a fact is the MTRCB has already determined that the act being complained about is obscene or immoral.
Yes po, based on the decision of the MTRCB.
Although it's still under motion for
Yes.
reconsideration.
Hindi pa final yon, but of course, may decision na po ang MTRCB na ma-suspend yung its showtime for
12 days.
12 days. But that is one of our basis na yung ginagawa, yung icing incident or yung icing incident sa panahon ng its showtime is contrary to law, morals, good custom, public order, public policy on the basis of the judgment of the MTRCB. One incident lang po yan. One of our basis. Another basis is yung tinatawag na obscenity as a general rule. Of course, what is obscenity? Sabi natin, broad daw yung obscenity. But may test kasi na ginamit na ang Korte Suprema natin in relation sa decision po ng United States. Nakalagay doon, ang obscenity, if anything, any show that is contrary to chastity, that is contrary to morals, that is contrary to custom, that affects or influence the mindset of the public, and pursuant sa principle of parens patria, may authority ang ating government. Bakit? Kasi yung MTRCB, wala silang criminal power to prosecute. They will only censor, or they will also classify kung ito ba ay general patronage, R13, R18, yun lang. Pagkatapos, pwedeng i-delete, i-suspend, hanggang doon lang. Pagkatapos, wala na. Under our present law.
Attorney Mark, if we could refocus on the incident complained about. I heard earlier that it was witnessed during that segment of its showtime na ang pamagat ng segment ay Isip Bata.
Yes po.
So therefore, by concept, that is a segment that is dedicated to address and
Sa
to
kabataan.
appeal to children.
Yes po.
O baka po pwede kayo mag-expound on that to further broaden the context of this complaint.
Actually, ang focus natin ngayon is in violation of Article 201. But hindi lang ito yung kaso ipa-file. We are planning to file yung second case. Okay, this is a child abuse case. But of course, hindi lang pwede mag-file ang kapisanan. Kailangan may witness, may mga bata or at least mga magulang ng bata to file a case. That's why we are still on the process of talking to the complainant, and yung trabaho naman ng kapisanan is we will just help. So ibang kaso po yan, yung tinatawag na child abuse, because we cannot discuss in details about the case nung final namin nung Monday, kasi baka masabi na inunahan natin yung prosecution office. Ang sa atin lang, may pangalawang kasong ipafile, yung tinatawag na child abuse. But hindi ang kapisana ng mga broadcasters ang magpa-file. It will be filed by the parents representing the minor child, but of course with the assistance ng kapisanan ng mga broadcasters.
And that is a violation of Republic Act 7610.
Yes po. Violation of child abuse in relation to cybercrime pa rin.
Yeah, 7610
Yes
is
po.
the mother law,
Yes po, tama po.
which I happen to author.
Yes po.
I
So,
was a senator. Counting advertisement lang. Counting advertisement. Now, what is moral today or immoral today may not be immoral tomorrow. What is obscene today may not be obscene in the next 2 decades.
Yes po.
So what will be the determining factor to say that an act is obscene or immoral at a certain period of time? Because it is not an absolute continuing standard. So what will be looked into by our court now, assuming this goes to court? What will the court look into to determine whether an act is really obscene or not?
That's why yung kaso ngayon ni Vice Ganda at saka ni Ayon Perez, this will become, kung akyat ito sa court, this will become a landmark case. Landmark case kasi, tama po kayo Senator Joey, na iba yung morality nung panahon ng 1930s, iba yung morality nung panahon ng 1950s, iba yung 1980s. Ngayon, 2023, iba yung test of morality. So, hindi natin masasabi na what is good today, what is moral today, moral then 20 years from now or 30 years from now.
But you filed the case.
We will file a case.
No, but you already filed the case.
We will file a case based on Article 201. Yes, we cite it that it
So
is...
you're saying that contemporary interpretation of obscenity says that society at this point in time, the standard is that act is obscene.
Yes po. Based on the jurisprudence, current jurisprudence of the Supreme Court ngayon. But I do not know kung ano yung sasabihin ng Supreme Court 10 years, 5 years from now, 3 years from now.
But that Fernando versus Court of Appeals, which cited Miller versus California.
Yes po, yes po.
That's what you're referring
Yes
to.
po.
That was also written several years back.
Yes po.
So what I'm asking pointedly is, right now, what you are making a prejudgment in filing a case that this act being complained about is obscene using contemporary standards.
But that is still the present jurisprudence as of today. Hindi pa naman nabago ang jurisprudence natin about Article 201. Kung
Yeah,
ano
but
yung...
that's the principle involved.
Yes,
but
po.
looking at it right now, looking at it, what is the standard of society that will guide the court?
Okay.
Since Senator Attorney Joey Lina mentioned the case of Fernando versus Court of Appeals, the highest tribunal said there is a test of obscenity there. And the test of obscenity is any act that tends or with a tendency, merely a tendency to corrupt or influence an open mind to immoral acts. Now, there is also another three-pronged test there, which I know ex-Senator Joey Lina is very, very aware of, that you were talking of the current community standard, which is mentioned as one of the tests, whether the act is in accordance to the concurrent community standard, something that will influence an open mind to perform immoral acts. And number two test is also whether it is patently offensive, that it leads to an immoral act or obscene exhibition, something like that. And number three, whether or not the act lacks literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. These are the three-pronged tests that has been mentioned in that jurisprudence, which Senator Joey is referring to.
Well, does the clip show, and let us be direct, does it show a sexual activity?
There is no actual sexual activity, but if we will base it on this current jurisprudence, according to concurrent community standards, that action of an icing and being placed, lick orally, leads to a tendency to corrupt or influence an open mind to perform indecent or immoral acts, taking into consideration that the two persons are known to be
Partners.
partners.
Okay, let's be direct. So it's not the direct sexual activity. What is indirectly being depicted? I mean, to your mind, what is indirectly being depicted? I mean, we have to be ready.
Yeah.
We have to be ready with this question. Maybe it exists in your mind, but in the minds of other people, it doesn't exist.
Exactly. There is actually a variance. But what is important here is that in the common and ordinary sense of the average person, the act itself tends to influence. There is a tendency to influence open minds to perform immoral acts or immoral activities.
Well, I think the Kapisanan should be ready with these questions that speak for yourself. I mean, it can be thrown at you. Speak for yourself. Why do you think along that line? You have a malicious mind. The general public does not have a malicious mind. So can you expound on this so that it can be understood and appreciated? Because I think that will be one of the counter arguments that will be thrown at the Kapisanan. What's malicious about that? What is offensive about that? You have a malicious mind. We don't have a malicious mind, no?
Okay,
so what is
Our plan po as a lawyer for the Kapisanan, of course, one of our witness will be Dr. Olarte and some of our co-complainants. But hindi lang yan ang maging witness namin. We will also present an expert in communication, an expert in the in the science of psychology that will establish that the act is an obscene act. The act is
okay, can you
act.
say what is that act?
That's
so
why
so that we let us say it directly. What is the act that is being insinuated?
That's why
that to your mind is immoral or obscene and should not be shown publicly, directly or indirectly. I'm now using the word indirectly.
That's why po we will present an expert witness who has a capacity or expertise to testify to our courts or even to the prosecution. We will establish. We will present an expert witness who will certify that such act is an immoral act based on the science of communication, based on the science of arts, based on the science of the field of psychology. So yun ang i-present po namin na maging witness because ang tanong natin na is it decent? Is it immoral? Of course, Dr. Olarte as a complainant, he will only testify ano yung nakita niya. He will only testify that he is authorized or he was authorized by the Kapisanan. But he has no capacity to say, yung action na yan is immoral. Yung action na yan, bastos. Maybe opinion na yan. But ang tanong, in court, yung opinion, wala namang basis ang opinion except if the opinion is coming from the expert witness. Ang matestify lang ni Dr. Olarte, yes, nakita niya sa Facebook, nakita niya sa YouTube, nakita niya sa TV, na may kamay, nilagay ng icing, tapos kinakain ng kamay. Yun lang sasabihin niya. But ang tanong, Kung tanungin natin si Dr. Olarte, bastos ba yan, Dr. Olarte? Sino ba siya magsasabi? Expert ba siya? Hindi. Hindi. So we will present an expert witness. An expert witness in the field of communication. Maybe we will hire or we will request a doctorate degree in communication, a doctorate degree or an expert in the field of psychology, who will explain punto per punto on the basis of the science of psychology, on the basis of the science of communication, ano yung tinatawag na immoral, ano yung tinatawag na obscenity, indecent. Kasi we are just talking here of the legal principles. But kung tanungin po kami, ano yung capacity or ano yung expertise ni Dr. Olarte or any of the complainant to say na that act is immoral? Wala. Masasabi lang niya, nakita niya sa Facebook, nakita niya sa TV, may dinidilaan na kamay. Yun lang.
Pero Attorney Mark, no? You said earlier that the MTRCB already decided, they have actually suspended
Yes.
It's Showtime for 12 days.
Tama po.
Ibig sabihin, sa kanila malinaw na malinaw kung ano yung batayan. No? It's just a pity that they are not here. No? So dahil pareho naman kayo ng kausa, you may wish to inform our audience now, ano yung mga specifics ng MTRCB decision, no? To justify the suspension of its Showtime.
Si Dr. Olarte ang magsagot niyan.
Para mas klaro po sa ating audience. No?
Okay. As far as I have read and remembered what was written in the, I think that was an 8-page decision by the Movie Television Review and Classification Board. It said that the classification of this It's Showtime is parental guidance. And this show, the activities there exceeded what it should be only under the concerns of parental guidance. And further also that leaking of the ice from the cake somehow would was to the effect that it was shocking to the senses, and that there is a tendency to influence the open minds, especially that it was done in the presence of small children. And because the state has a very important concern, interest in this acts and acting as parents patria, the MRTCB said that the acts done in that It's Showtime show really is some acts that may influence or corrupt the open minds of the kids, of the little children, to that effect.
Okay, so I think it's now timely that we ask Dr. Arsena to present the effect of social media on the people's minds, especially the young.
Yes, magandang umaga po sa inyo. Ako po ay si Dr. Bernadette Arsena. They call me as Babes for short. I've been in the media ever since 2000. So, I participated with some of the shows. Kasama din ako sa ABS-CBN before with Minimi, no? So, I was a psychiatrist consultant of Minimi before, no? Yung mga talento, no, ng mga kabataan na ginaguide ko yung mga how do you call this? Mga gustong kumanta, sumayaw ng mga kabataan. As I'm a doctor of medicine and I am a psychiatrist. I have a subspecialty in psychiatry. I'm a diplomate of the Philippine Board of Psychiatry, and I'm a fellow of the Philippine Psychiatric Association. I have been in this field for a long time, and media advocacy is also my turf, no? Since I've been a previous PRO of the Philippine Psychiatric Association. Presently, I'm the president of the Alliance for North and Central Luzon Psychiatry. So, dun banda sa Central Luzon, wherein I'm working at the TMC Clark. Okay? So, right now, I also was involved with teleseries, no? Especially with GMA. Yes, I'm also a PMA member. No? So, just to name a few, I was also invited at CNN, at TV5. No? I was once kasama kami ni Tulfo. No? Senator Tulfo yata yun eh. With some of his segments. GMA naman sa Ang Dalawang Ikaw, no? With Ken Chan. So, I was a part of it. And other teleseries of GMA. Sa ABS naman, yes, that's my first shows, no, with Gasa Belgas, if you know him, no, sa Socon. Okay, so those are my turf. No, but right now, I was invited to present to you guys the effects of social media. Okay, next slide. Okay, so here are the top uses of social media. Okay? So, kung nakikita nyo, 48% be used to social media. That's for year 2023, no? Keeping in touch with friends and family. So, ganun ang ginawa natin dahil pandemic, di ba? So, hindi nga tayo makakalabas ng bahay, but we do, no? Connect with other of our friends and families. We also do our work, no? So, may mga interviews din ako through Zoom, no? So, yun ang nangyari. Feeling spare time, 37.3%. Reading news, 34%. Finding content, 29%. Seeing what's being talked about, so ito mga chismis, no? 28.4%. Finding inspiration for things to do and buy, so ito yung mga Lazada, ito yung mga Shopee. So, 26.4%. Finding products to purchase, 26%. Sharing and discussing opinions with others, 22%. Watching live streams and making new contacts. So, ito yun yung mga friends. Tapos may mga dating apps pa, no? Na nag-sprout, no? Nung time ng pandemic. Next slide. Okay. So, if you take a look at this, maganda naman tagang social media. Okay? Especially when we are confined in our houses during the time that year 2020, I remember that. We were busy, no, as doctors, catering to COVID patients. And at the same time, we connect, no, through the social media. So, ito yung mga, for connectivity, lahat ng klase ng tao, no, they connect. Education sa ating mga kabataan, no, we do Zoom, we do Webex, no, meetings. Information updates. I think the support system, lahat naman tayo nakakuha ng support system, no, sa social media. Conveying feelings, usually yung mga kabataan, no, they express, no, they're very, very particular kung madami nag-likes, no, and hindi. Next slide po. Well, here are the harm effects of social media. So, I have noticed also since I work at the Bridges of Hope, no, that addiction, especially with sabong, no, e-casino, what else? Using methamphetamine, no, marijuana, and some harmful substances, tumaas talaga nung time ng pandemic. Fake news, no? So these are the harmful effects of social media pag hindi naagapan. Relationship issues. So nakita din natin yung bullying, no? Hate speech ang tawag natin, wherein also these people would bully, no? Some other, like for example, yung mga the weak, no? Yung mga mahihina sa society, binubully nila. And one also of the effects is, of course, no, nakakatamad, no? So some of them would really go, just be a couch potato. Next slide. Okay. Now, I divided my slides into children, to adolescents, kasi sabi ko, it's just a general effects, no, of social media. So, since cyberbullying is very high, the tendency for children is to have anxiety and depressive symptoms. Kasi, syempre, yung aspeto ng self-image is very important to them. Okay? So, what else? Psychological problems, and have you noticed also that children would sleep at what time? No? 3 a.m., 4 a.m., tapos tulog sila sa umaga, no? Gising sila sa gabi. Next slide po. Alright. For adolescents, here are the side effects or the harmful effects. So, minsan, no, nawawala yung privacy ng mga adolescents. And here, cyberbullying is really high. And also because they play games, and some of them are prone to web addiction. So, they are chronically deprived of sleep. Di sila nakakatulog. And we have noticed also that there is a problem with the school performance. So, talagang bumaba ang kanilang grades, no? Increase in mental distress and self-harm behavior. What is self-harming? Ito yung naglalaslas, no? Or some of them would overdose with tablets, no? Recently, I've seen a lot of children having harmful, no? Self-destructive behavior such as slashing. So, it's so sad, no? Because I see that, you know, our clinics are being sobrang dami ng mga kabataan na nagsaslash, no? Next slide. Also, no, for the LGBTQIA+, what are the effects, no? Social media. So far for now, parang there is an acceptance, no? Of, kasi ang daming mga social media influencers who are also on the LGBTQIA+, no? So, medyo sikat sila. And so, they create friends with like-minded people. Parang nagsama-sama sila, no? But also, I do think that also they have their own rights, no? Feeling more comfortable expressing themselves helps them as they explore, no? The community. And syempre, since they are more or less, no, they're good with being entertainers, so parang there's an acceptance already that this is their turf, no? Next slide. Okay. What are also the other effects, no? Just like other people, there's also harassment, bullying, and self-image kasi is one of the problems of the LGBTQIA+. No? So, ito yung problem talaga nila. So, here, they may also be prone to a lot of issues here pagdating dun sa kanilang image, no? As not a man or not a woman. Okay? Next slide. In adults naman, okay, bad spicy political takes, the feelings of worthlessness, no? Tapos madami din inggitan, starting arguments over all kinds of things, and then burnout, no? Those are also one of the effects of the social media in adults. Next slide. So, dito naman sa elderly, may epekto, no? You have noticed that di ba, in the scams, no? Parang nangungunang mga elderlies. Like, for example, the foreigner or the guy would promise, no? Marriage or would promise money or riches, no? Ito naman, in love naman ng mga girls, no? O yung mga elderlies natin, they thought that they're gonna be happy again. Yung pala scam, no? Kinuha ang pera nila at lahat. Anxiety and low self-esteem, no? And misinformation and fake news, no? So, the elderlies, though, they don't usually use the social media. But then when they use it, no, minsan na isasama sila taga sa mga scam because they don't know, no? Okay, next slide. Okay, tips for responsible use of social media. Well, we have to keep our profiles set to private and avoid posting unprofessional photos or statements. No? Do not post your whereabouts and think twice before posting in an emotional state. So, well, as a professional, we could not place our emos, no? Of if you're sad or parang pang teenager lang to. But for us professionals, we also have to be responsible for what we are posting. Next slide. So, this is the end of my slide. Social media is not a media. The key is to listen, engage, and feel, and build relationships. So, sa social media, kailangan sa social ang importante dyan, no? Meaning to say that it's time for you to listen, it's time for you to engage in information and communication which is effective. Salamat po. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Arsena. Can we again ask Dr. Olarte to be with us here? Dr. Olarte, going back to the complaint, and RJ, you can already intervene. Again, let's go to the specific of the case. There is this issue of, you know, icing on the cake. And we are trying to pinpoint where is the obscenity here. The circumstances that are already also surrounding the specific issue is that Vice Ganda and Iron Perez are in a relationship. I think that's public, no? That it is no secret. Okay. And one issue that one item that I read in the papers or in as part of the discussion of this issue is that the case was an anti-LGBTQ case. It's a discrimination case, prejudging as bad this kind of relationship. But if the act is between two straight people, male and female, that would not have probably elicited a kind of this reaction. But if this is between two males and the act alluded to was being in the insinuation is that it's a sexual activity, and I would think that is the direction of the complaint. It became a portrayal of a sexual activity, although indirectly, because there's no actual sexual activity. Is that how you are going to develop this case? That it is a exhibition of a sexual activity through acts that indirectly portray sexual activity among LGBTQ.
Okay, so you would like to manifest that or declare that our kapisanan highly respect gender equality. We respect the LGBTQ plus. Okay. But to our minds, since there is a violation that we perceive, no one is above the law. Whether or not you belong to this group, or you are man and woman having a relationship, the act to us alludes to something that is that gives a tendency. There is a tendency to the open mind.
Can you say it directly? Are you saying it's oral sex? I mean, let's not tiptoe around this, because otherwise you cannot put into context what are we talking about. Is the insinuation the sexual activity is about oral sex?
The insinuation is whether it is a sexual activity, whether oral or vaginal sex. That is an insinuation to a sexual
activity.
Yeah.
But you have to contextualize it further, because you and I can get a cake, and I'll get the icing, and I put it in my mouth, and it doesn't amount to anything.
Yeah, but the way it was done,
it can just be a normal thing. It can be a childish one time, and get the icing from the cake, reminiscing my childhood days that I used to do that. Will that qualify as an obscene act?
the manner and the conduct and the environment are factors here to be considered.
The circumstances, you mean?
Yes, the circumstances.
The context.
Yes, the context, the whole context, the whole picture of the activity is to be considered. Now, in this case, even the legal counsel of our president said that the act was salacious and indecent. The majority of the public, in their perception, alludes to a sexual activity.
Gusto yatang dagdagan ng ating kaibigang si RJ.
And then we will hear from the Corsillo movement after a while.
Una, ginawa po ang act na ito sa harapan ng kamera o telebisyon. At ang telebisyon po ay malawak ang naabot nito. Kalawa, ginawa ang pagkilos na ito ng dalawang individual sa harap ng dalawang musmos na kabataan. Ikatlo, yung aksyon na ipinakita mismo ng dalawang individual na ito. Bago pa isinubo, no, yung icing sa kanyang bibig, ay may malagkit na pagtingin sa kanyang kapareha. Isa lang ang mensahe na pinapakita ng insidente na ito, na ito pala ay maaring kopyahin ng matanda, ng bata o ng musmos, na ang mali ay maaari nang maging tama. At sa ating mga magulang, malinaw sa atin na ito po ay hindi isang pribadong aksyon, kung hindi ginawa ito sa harapan ng publiko. At doon po nagkakaroon ng problema. Maaari namang gamitin o gawin ng mag-asawa at ng dalawang individual na ito sa isang pribadong lugar. Subalit, in-execute nila ito ng walang pasubali. Tila parang yung pangalan ni Vice Ganda ay parang gusto niyang maging bisyo ng mga musmos natin. Yung mismong ikinilos nila, na yun ay hindi, para sa akin bilang isang tatay, ay hindi po katanggap-tanggap na maging aral sa ating mga kabataan. So, hindi rin, ako po, personal, hindi ko po tinitignan yung relasyon ng lalaki sa lalaki, kung hindi yung ikinilos ng lalaki sa lalaki na ito. At buong pagrespeto po na binibigay ko sa mga LGBTQ plus community, yung mga karapatan na yan. Subalit ang karapatan na ito ay maaari naman po ito sa mga pribadong lugar. Ulitin ko po, nangyari po ito sa harapan ng telebisyon, naka-streamline, naka-live, pumasok po sa social media, sa Facebook, at sa iba pang mga pamamaraan. At yun po ang, doon po pumapasok yung danger, no? Dahil interest na po ng publiko ang nasagasaan nung aksyon na ito. Kaya ito po ay malinaw na meron pong pagpapakita ng labis-labis na siguro na emosyon nung ito ay kanyang isinubo sa kanyang bibig. At ang lalaki sa lalaki, kapag sila po ay nagtatalik, hindi naman po sa puwerta. Dahil wala naman pong puwerta yung kanyang kapareha. So saan po ito ipinapasok? Di sa bibig. So anong ibig sabihin ng malagkit na tingin, isinubo sa bibig, sa harapan ng dalawang bata, at milyong-milyong mga mamamayang nanonood sa telebisyon. At doon po pumapasok yung hindi dapat ito tularan. Salamat po.
Okay. From the Corsilio movement, can you please, for the media to again identify yourself?
Good morning po. Magandang umaga sa lahat. Secretary, Mr. Senator, Secretary ko. Ako po ay hindi abogado. I will speak in behalf of Philippine National Corsilio Movement Secretariat under CBCP. Hindi po ako abogado, hindi rin ako member ng kapisanan. Pero I just want to set the biblical point of view. Tayo po ay isang Kristiyanong bansa. Tayo po ay dapat ang ating pong turo sa simbahan ay always maging morally clean. No? So lahat po ng ating gagawin, lahat ng ating sasabihin, kung tayo po ay tunay na Kristiyano, kailangan maisip muna natin na yung bang aking gagawin, sasabihin, ay magseset na magandang example bilang Kristiyano sa lahat ng kausap ko, nanonood sa akin, o ng aking mga kaibigan, at lalo na tayo mga taong simbahan. So, sa amin po, sa National Corsilio Movement Secretariat, ay meron po kaming gawain ngayon na ipakalat at gawin natin, i-extend natin sa lahat ng mga kasama natin sa simbahan that we must live morally and spiritual clean. No? Yun po ang sa amin. At this point of time, dito po sa kaso na ating pinag-uusapan, we cannot say who are guilty or not. But we know for a fact na kung ginawa mo ito, you are guilty, una, sa harapan ng Diyos. So sa atin na lang po, sa kanila, sila magsasabi na nagkasala ba sila o hindi. So sa amin po, but we will pursue, convince ang lahat ng ating mga kababayan na we must live a moral life. Kanya nga po ang pinag-uusapan dito yung mga kabataan, no? Tayo po ay sabi nga ng Panginoon, malibang kayo ay maging kamukha ng mga batang ito, mahirap ninyong makita ang kaharian ng langit. So, ang Panginoon po, mga bata pa lang, gusto na ng Panginoon Diyos na i-mold natin sa mabuting morality, no? But kung habang lumalaki ang mga bata at hindi maganda ang kanilang nakikita, naririnig, lalo na sa technology ngayon, ano? So, anong kabataan, anong future ng mga kabataan natin madadatnan at makikita? So, as part po sa Corsilio Movement, kami po ay formator, speaker sa mga programa po sa gobyerno, yung Moral and Spiritually Recovery Program na executive order ni former President Fidel Ramos, hanggang ngayon po ay aming pinupursuyan. So dito po, Mr. Senator, yun po ang aming stand dito. We must live morally and spiritually clean. Kung gusto natin tayo ay maging good example sa ating mga kababayan at sa harapan ng ating Panginoon Diyos. Salamat po.
Okay. We will ask the members of the media, Sani, to shoot their questions. Just to establish the facts, there is a decision by the MTRCB to already suspend for 12 days the television program Showtime. So that means not only the television program, but it's airing in all the other media. Okay. Although the case is still under motion for reconsideration, and I understand that the decision was unanimous by the board, except that the chairman herself inhibited from voting, I think out of delicadeza, because the father happens to be in another show at the same time, in another channel. So I think the public is eagerly awaiting the decision of the MTRCB with regard to the motion for reconsideration. And it's still appealable to the office of the President. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's how it will go. It will still go to the office of the President for final decision. And if ABS-CBN wants to, or Vice Ganda or Ayon Perez still wants to contest, assuming that there will be a affirmation by the office of the President of the MTRCB decision, then certiorari can still be filed with the Supreme Court. So that is how it will go. So well, this is an issue of public interest. You can continuously discuss this. I don't think the sub judice rule will apply. No? Okay. Now, having said that, I think let's see. You said, Attorney Tolentino, that you're preparing another case.
Actually, we are still establishing mga ebidensya po for filing another case. But of course, hindi lang po si Vice Ganda ang focus mo natin. Kung sino yung gumagawa ng mga sa social media that we believe is in violation of Article 201, we will also file a case. Bakit? Kasi the Kapisanan will act as a watchdog sa cyber space ng Pilipinas. So, pag natingin natin na may violation under Article 201, we will do it. Bakit? Kasi sabi ko nga, ang freedom of press is not absolute. We believe that freedom of press is not absolute. May certain limitation. One of the limitation is the law on libel. Another limitation is actually Article 201 of the Revised Penal Code.
All right. Okay. So, may we now invite the members of the media to shoot their own question. Please identify yourself. There's a microphone here.
Good morning po ulit. Margo from SMNI. Attorney Mark, linawin lang natin sana yung mga specific na penalty o parusa, mga parusang maaring niya ipataw sakaling kakatigan po tayo ng prosecution or ng court dito sa kasong isinampan natin versus Vice Ganda.
By the way, ang magbigay...
And gaano po kaseryoso para sa isang artista na masampahan ng mga ganitong uring kaso?
Okay. Ang magbibigay ng penalty, it's not the prosecutor but the fiscal. The fiscal or the prosecutor office will only recommend kung magkano ang bail, then kung may matingin nila na may probable cause, iakyat nila sa court. Yun yan. Pag na-convict, pag may napapatunayan, proof beyond reasonable doubt na may violation talaga yung dalawang tao na yan, si Vice Ganda or si Ayan Perez, so makulong sila. Ang penalty, pag hindi natin isama ang cybercrime, kung hindi natin ma-prove ang cybercrime, pasok sa 201. 201, Article 201, ang penalty is prison mayor, 6 years, 1 day to 12 years. Ang jurisdiction dyan is the Regional Trial Court. Hindi siya MTC na simple case. Regional Trial Court. But, kung mapapatunayan na may kasama ang cyber libel o cybercrime, akyat yan ng isang degree. Pag akyat ng isang degree, so maging prison temporal. Prison temporal is 12 years, 1 day to 20 years. Mabigat ba yan? Yes, mabigat.
Reclusion temporal.
Reclusion temporal. 12 years, 1 day to 20 years. Mabigat ba yan? Yes, mabigat. But is it bailable? Yes, it is bailable.
Sir, second one is...
Yung prison mayor is 6 years and 1 day to 12 years. So yung higher degree is 12 years and 1 day
to 20 years.
20 years.
Okay.
So ibig sabihin, ang penalty, ang pinakamabigat na penalty, abot yan ng 20 years. Maximum.
Sir, may particular appeal tayo sa MTRCB. Yung 12-day suspension is enough po para sa atin?
Yung 12-year suspension, hindi naman...
Yung sa MTRCB po.
12-day suspension, hindi naman yung kapisanan ang nag-file doon eh. I think iba yung nag-file. Then, hindi pa yun final and executory. So, nandyan pa rin yung it's showtime. So, nag-file yata sila ng motion for reconsideration. So, hindi pa siya final. So, hindi pa pwedeng i-implement yung decision ng MTRCB.
Pero if ever po magiging final na yon, para po sa inyo, enough na po yung 12-day suspension o baka mas mapalawig pa yung suspension more than 12
Iba yun.
days?
Iba kasi yung kaso natin, hindi ito MTRCB case. We are filing a criminal case. Ang issue about MTRCB, pwedeng tanggalin, ma-delete, pwedeng i-suspend, yun ang power ng MTRCB. But the MTRCB has no prosecutory power. Ang prosecutory power, nandun po yan sa prosecutor office through the Department of Justice. So, ibang issue ang DOJ or the Office of the Prosecutor, kasi criminal case, iba naman yung kaso sa MTRCB.
Okay. Doon po sa ikalawang kaso na binanggit po natin, may ano po kaya tayo, timetable kung kailan ipa-file yun and kung saan po ipa-file at ilang complainants po yung maaari natin maging...
Maybe in few weeks, we are planning, but still, pinag-usapan pa natin kasi hindi, by the way, the kapisanan, hindi po tayo ang complainant. We are just an assisting organization. The one who will file a case, yung mga kabataan, represented by their parents. So sila ang mag-file ng kaso, tapos yung kapisanan ng mga broadcaster, yun lang ang mag-support for filing the case.
Sir, yung child abuse, ilang complainants po yung tinutukoy natin? Kasi parang you mentioned mga
We are still gathering lahat ng mga complainants na mag-file. So, maybe, depende kung saan nangyari ang krimen. Kung nangyari, pwede sa Manila, pwede sa Pasay, pwede somewhere in Mindanao, pwede somewhere in Visayas. It depends. Kasi, we are still gathering. We are still gathering all the complainants. So, kasi, you know, pag criminal case kasi, the jurisdiction is where the alleged crime was committed. So, depende kung saan nangyari or sino yung mga complainant, so doon ma-file ang kaso.
Thank you, Attorney. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question?
There's another question from the floor.
Good morning po, Victoria Tulad of ABS-CBN. Sabi po ni Senator Lina kanina, what may be obscene for one person may not be obscene for another. Ano pong reaction nyo dun sa mga mag-iisip or magsasabi na a criminal complaint might be a bit extreme po?
Sinong? Siya o ako?
Attorney Tolentino or Attorney Leo po.
So, hindi siya extreme kasi nandyan ang batas. The law may be harsh, but it is the law. So, hindi naman tayo mga senador dito na of course, we are here, we have a next senator, Di naman tayo mga congressman o senator dito na we are talking about the political issue or the political question kung dapat bang baguhin ang batas. Nandiyan ang batas. We are just here to follow the law because no one is above the law. Kung harsh yun, dapat tanggalin na yun sa batas. But as long as nandiyan sa batas, it means we are just here to represent the public na under the principle of parens patria, sinasabi ng kapisanan, "Hoy, gobyerno, you have the obligation to protect the state, to protect against immorality, obscenity, or yung mga another violation ng contrary to law, morals, good custom, public order, or public policy." Yun ang ginagawa ng kapisanan. We're not, actually, pag na-file na ang kaso sa court, hindi na ang kapisanan ang maging complainant. Kasi ang mangyari, pag ang kaso umakyat na sa court, people of the Philippines versus Vice Ganda, Ayan Perez. Yung mga kapisanan will become a witness. The complainant will be the people of the Philippines represented by the Department of Justice.
Okay. Last question. Ang tagal ng... attorney, may dadagdag po kayo.
Tama na yung sagot niya.
And then, ang tagal na po nating nagkakaroon ng problem tungkol sa mga obscene scenes on TV,
Yes,
sa shows,
I think
etc.
I had to ask you yung sabi mo na yung obscenity ni Pedro, hindi obscenity ni Juan. Yung sabi mo. Sabi ko nga, may test under our Philippine jurisprudence, what is obscenity? But of course, kung tanungin mo ako, obscene ba yung ginagawa ni Vice Ganda o hindi? Based on law, I'm just following the law. Based as a lawyer, as the lawyer of the kapisanan, I'm just following the law. But ang tanong mo, ano ba yung tinatawag na obscenity? May test. But of course, I am not an expert witness to say what is immoral, what is indecent, what is violation ng custom. Because if we file a case, we are planning to present an expert witness. Expert witness who can testify to give an expert opinion. Kasi lahat ng pagsasabi natin, immoral yung ginagawa ni Vice Ganda, hindi immoral, that is only our opinion. Ang opinion under the rules on evidence, walang bisa yan. Except pag yung opinion mo, if you are an expert witness. So that's why our plan, depende na sa mga boss ko sa kapisanan. Actually, I'm just a lawyer. Hindi ako complainant. Sila ang complainant. Ang gagawin natin, based on my suggestion sa kanila, is dapat magpresenta tayo ng mga expert. Expert who can give as an expert opinion about what is morality, what is indecent, what is contrary to law, what is contrary to morals. So yun ang i-present po natin to establish that the action of Mr. Vice Ganda or Ayon Perez, there is probable cause in the commission of the crime to warrant the issuance of a warrant of arrest, and doon na siya sa court magpaliwanag. Bakit? I believe, mayroon pa rin siyang tinatawag na due process. Mr. Vice Ganda or Ayon Perez, they are still presumed innocent. May right sila na magpresenta ng evidence na mali itong ginagawa ng kapisanan. Wala tong bisa. Right nila yan. Pero kung hindi nila sagutin, they're waiving their right. So the prosecution will decide based on the evidence that will be presented by the kapisanan.
Meron na tayong expert witness dito, si Dr. Bernadette Arsena. She is a doctor with a specialty in psychiatry, diplomate and fellow of the Philippine Society of Psychiatry. So siya ang expert witness para sa case na.
One of our expert witnesses. Marami pala. Okay.
So what can the MTRCB do po para maiwasan itong mga gantong nagkakaroon ng
By the way,
complaints?
iba yung ginagawa ng MTRCB. Ang kapisanan, hindi po complainant.
Pero what can we do po? Kasi parang may perennial problem natin na may mga obscene scenes sa shows or sa TV. What does Congress need to have to craft a law or MTRCB po ba?
Mas maganda, this is just my opinion, they need to review that Presidential Decree 1986. Kasi walang ngipin yun eh. Nakalagay lang doon, general patronage. Mag-classify lang sila. But can they file a case for violation of morality, for violation of what they call this, indecency, or ano yan, under Article 21? Wala. Kailangan dadaan pa rin sa Department of Justice through the prosecutory power ng prosecutor office.
So maganda po if may prosecutorial power ang MTRCB na.
That is my humble opinion.
Thank you po.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
My name is Alex Timbol. I'm the editor of Police Matters in Law, as well as also a resource person on information security. In all the discussions, MTS, RCB, and even your discussion, it centers around obscenity, which is debatable and needs to be defined. What I'm wondering, no one has tackled it as a health issue, as a health code violation. May tinuturoan natin yung bata, especially during the pandemic. Maghugas kayo ng kamay, don't get your food, and put it. Has that angle ever been considered? Kasi realistically, I think that's more of a bigger impact sa mga bata eh. Di ba? Yung lack of health consciousness eh.
So maghugas ng kamay ang ibig mong sabihin.
Kasi obviously you see
of pandemic,
on TV, diba? Tinuruan mo yung mga bata, then you see celebrities on TV doing the exact opposite of what the DOH has been preaching. So, and that's an objective criteria eh. Kasi yung obscenity, kailangan mo pang i-prove through an expert witness, whereas this is a very objective criteria where you are doing something with your hands.
So you're saying is that we should file a complaint based on the fact that hindi sila naghugas ng kamay, yan ba bago sila sumubo ng icing?
In front of children pa.
Actually, may batas. Actually, we are using the text sa one of the jurisprudence ng Supreme Court. Actually, the latest decision is in 2006. So, yung jurisprudence ng Supreme Court about Article 201 of the Revised Penal Code is year 2006. And until now...
Ang question niya is yung maghugas ng kamay. In the concept of...
So, yung paghugas ng kamay, ibang issue yan. Because we are talking here of the law. So, we are talking here of the law. Ang issue naman dito sa crime, a criminal law, a criminal case, whether or not Vice Ganda or Ayan Perez committed a crime. Yun ang pinag-usapan. Hindi natin pinag-usapan dito, tama ba yung batas o hindi tama? Trabahoin ng congressman, trabahoin ng senador. Ang pinag-usapan natin dito, whether or not Mr. Vice Ganda or Ayan Perez committed a crime. Yun ang trabaho natin as a complainant to establish probable cause doon po sa prosecutor office.
Ngayon,
para at least umakyat sa court.
Yung sinasabi niyang violation, alleged violation, kung may violation pa daw na hindi naghugas ng kamay,
hindi. Kasi sabi ko nga, the law may be harsh but it is the law. There is no crime if there is no law punishing it. That's very basic in criminal law. Correct me if I'm wrong, Professor Secretary Joey Lina, but based on the principle of criminal law, nakalagay doon, there is no crime if there is no law punishing it. Walang krimen kung walang batas na nagpabawas sa kanya, nagpabawas sa ganyang gawain. So, hindi natin pinag-usapan dito kung mali yung batas. Ang pinag-usapan natin dito, may ginagawa bang violation sa batas? Yun ang dapat i-explain ng dalawa doon po sa prosecutor office.
So, walang violation dito na hindi naghugas ng kamay sa DOH?
Wala.
Anything else? Anybody else? Shall we adjourn this kapihan sa Manila Hotel? Okay, wala na.
Okay, thank you.
Mag-subscribe at i-click ang notification bell para sa mga susunod na video updates. Maraming salamat po.